Good morning, everybody. What's happening? Good morning. Hi. It's me, the one that you love, asking for another day. Doesn't go with this music, but anyway. Hi, I'm here. I made it, and a couple interesting things happening today. Well, mostly yesterday, but I talk about them today because I can't talk about things before they happen because I am not Tom Cruise in Minority Report. I can't tell you what's happening tomorrow, so I'm going to tell you what happened yesterday and this morning, and things like that, things that have already happened. So that's what I do on this show, and this makes no sense. Good morning. I'm glad you're here. Let's have a good show. We'll get as much stuff done as we can, and that'll be that. So welcome, Johnny. Turn this off and play the intro. Okay, there's that, and there he goes. See you in a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
That I am, but not Sam I am. Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where what you won't do for love, or I will not do. How does that song go? In my world, only you got a thing for love, and I would not do. I don't know how that goes. I don't know the words, but that was the singer Bobby Caldwell. Bobby Caldwell shocked the world back in the day when this song came out, because a lot of black women love this song, and then they realize it's a white boy singing it. Yes, and the real reason I bring up Bobby Caldwell today is because Bobby Caldwell has passed away. He's at 71 years old, I believe. It was always a great time on Twitter whenever a new generation of black people would find out that Bobby Caldwell was white. Here's the tweet by oh wait, what the hell's going on there? Oh, there we go. Fix that. There we go. Someone named Alexandria the Audio Whiz. Rest in peace, Bobby Caldwell. Whenever people would discover Bobby Caldwell wasn't black, he would always find and like the tweet. Yes, that's not Bobby Caldwell. Okay. Anyway, here's Bobby Caldwell performing "What You Won't Do for Love" live on let's see, what is this? On Miami Beach. Here's. Okay, I'm gonna just stop there because I'll get one of those music strikes. Anyway, yes, Bobby Caldwell was white. That's him right there. Here, I'll put it without the sound. Here, let me move this down here. Well, why isn't that moving? Here, I'll just put it up here without sound. Maybe something's going on with my internet. Damn it! What the hell's going on here? Anyway, so rest in peace, Bobby Caldwell, a soulful white boy. I should say a soulful white brother, because okay. Anyway, what happened here? Did this just apparently my Twitter feed just took a dump. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. Let's say hi to everybody. We'll get into some real news because I want to show Bobby Caldwell. Here, let's try this one. Okay, here we go. Here's Bobby Caldwell. In my world, only you make me do for love that I would not do. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. So anyway, that's Bobby Caldwell. Rest in peace, my brother. My white brother. All right, let's say hi to everybody. The rest of my peoples in the chat on both Rumble and YouTube. First in Rumble, of course, is Avocados Diablo because he will not be beat. He gets the bell. And also Jimmy Das Hotep, who is upset that you can never beat Avocados Diablo. Okay, I wouldn't say set, but you gotta be quick. You got the guy with the fishbowl. You gotta be quick. Anyway, also good morning to wait, I feel like the commercial with the old man that has $1 on a fishing line. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking of. I didn't even read that before I said that. Anyway, good morning, Michael Savage. Blarg. Also, Simon Wolfwood, TC. Who else is over? One Rebels in the house. All right, we're good to see you over there. On YouTube, good morning, Avocados Diablo again, who's first in that chat too, because he's a jack of all trades. Also, good morning, Dr. Funkenstein's Ghost, Mike Savage, Blarg, Chicago Mike, Tribute Liberty, what's up, my man? Good morning also to Tyler F., Plague Dr. Zach, a.k.a. Zach Osborne. Good morning, Rotten Corpse, Simon Wolfwood, TC's in the house. Good morning, Jen T. Maxie. Also, good morning to Anonymity T2. That's a new name in the chat. Maybe you, I'm not sure. Were you one of the people who came over when Ricada was on? I don't remember, but I'm glad you're here. Good morning also to Attack Alpaca. So now I got to scroll down because I'm running out of people. Oh, Tex AG, dum 007. Also, good morning to my favorite Canadian Jaeger Pony. What's up, man? Good morning also Jay Pylon. That little Dom DeMarco is also for Jimmy Das Hotep. That's a Hotep greeting, if you don't know what that is. And looks like that's everybody so far. I saw another name. Oh, Found. Once was lost, but now I'm found is in the house. That's another new name I haven't seen. Yes, Way, he's white. Yes, he is. He's white. He's a white dude. Well, he was a white dude because now he's no. Well, I suppose he's if you're dead, you're still a white dude, right? But yeah, Bobby Caldwell. Let's see. We continue to get a reaction of videos, people finding out you weren't black every year. Yeah, every time though. Look, this is one of those things. This is a black Twitter thing, because every time someone figures out that what is this? Yeah, these are all the people finding out that Bobby Caldwell was a brother, or it was a white brother, because he's still my brother even if you're white. They just started out jamming to Bobby Caldwell's. Okay, so anyway, and he had other songs, but wait, Next Time I Fall. That's not. Wait, what is this? I'm not sure I know this song. Hold up. Let's play it. Oh, is he the original singer of that song? Next time I fall in love, I don't know what to do. Next time I fall in love. Ooh. Anyway. Who else is here? Anybody else show up? Lord Stanhope's in the house. Nice to see you. All right, let's talk about actual news though, because there's a lot going on. Real quick though, I do got to say some thank yous real quick to the people who are tweeting out the show. Necrosol Collins, are you in the house? What's up if you are? Also, Those Ain't Reals here. Good morning. Those Ain't Real, dude. I say that a lot when I scroll through Instagram. Anyway, thank you to Necrosol Collins, Tyler F., Zach Osborne. Also, thank you to well, that's everybody. No, it is not. There we go. TC, thank you for retweeting the show. Man Squatched, and whatever. Oh, there's people. Oh gosh, people are replying to stuff that I tweeted yesterday. Oh God. Oh, look. You dumb motherfuckers. You dumb motherfuckers. Who's this dude? Grandpa Honer. Grandpa Honer is... Okay, what does this have to do? Okay, so here's my here's my, I did my Twitter announcement and I do the same thing on Locals, right? And I put out the show. Now, I'm looking on here. Biden's executive order is unconstitutional. Martin Light Live, streaming now. Jerome, Bobby Caldwell, Charlie Kirk, Credit Suisse shall not be infringed. More, blah, blah, blah. Now, somebody explain to me why this particular reply to that makes sense. Blah, blah, blah. Hunter Biden's laptop sent us. What the actual fuck does that have to do with my show? Huh? Huh? What how does this relate? Does this relate? I'm not even replying to this fucker. Who is this motherfucker? Grampy Heckler. Oh, it's 338 followers. I don't care. Go to hell. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Things that are happening in the world. First of all, apparently the Russians shot down a drone. Oh, Lord Stanhope, I always thought Tom Jones was black. He ain't even American. No, that brother's from Wales. And Tom Jones should be on anyone's list of the top 100 singers of all time, at least in pop music in particular. I'm sure there's opera singers and there's people out there, or I should say contemporary music in between, from the 1930s until today. Okay, contemporary singers. I would say Tom Jones would be in my top 100 list every time, maybe even in my top 10 list. I think Tom Jones is amazing. I put him right up there with people like, Michael Jackson, Luther Vandross. Just great singers. Michael Jackson, I wouldn't put him in the top 10. Michael Jackson definitely in the top 10 performers, maybe. And there's a whole lot of things you do, because there's a lot you can put under the category of actual singers. You can put in the categories of performers. You can put in the categories of overall entertainers. Like, I think Prince is probably one of the greatest overall entertainers and songwriters, and just the whole complete package of all time. Musicians, one of the top musicians of all time, particularly in contemporary music. But greatest singer, maybe not. He was a great singer, but as far as musician, absolutely top. But I would, so there's a lot of subjective shit that goes on when you do that. But anyway. So I have no idea why this nutcase decided to put that particular. Let me ask you something, chat, and this is a serious question. Have I talked a lot about Hunter Biden's laptop on this channel? No, I rarely mentioned it, even though, because look. There isn't a whole lot out about it, and but what is out about it don't look good for President Spongebrain Shit Pants. But I don't talk about it that much because there's not a whole lot of news about it. When someone actually does an investigation about it, well, then I'll talk about it. But what's funny is that, or even the people who have the information, they put the information out about it, but the Justice Department sure isn't going to do anything about it. So I don't talk a lot about it. So that's a very curious representation of my show today, that this person is something about Hunter Biden's laptop and showing January 6th. Oh, you mean the riot, the mostly peaceful protest that got out of hand when police started throwing flashbangs and pepper spray in the crowd? Yeah, that January 6th. The insurrection! Yeah, that January 6th. So whatever. Grandpa over his little anti-fa flags. Fuck you, bitch. Anyways, let's get on to some other news. So that there was a drone that got shot down. Let's go talk about that. Or not necessarily shot down. It's kind of confusing as to really what happened. There's different versions of what happened. The Russians say that, who knows, said that the drone did some sudden maneuvering and crashed in the sea. The people who reported in the United States say the Russians and had a couple planes up there that not necessarily shot down, but had some kind of collision or whatever. So anyway, I'm not sure why a drone was flying in the Black Sea. It's interesting. And look, there's a lot of different takes on this. So let's take Caitlin Johnson first, who says maybe the drone got lost, and she puts up this map showing that the Black Sea here and Russia's right here, and then they show the United States, the Black Sea's here and the United States is over here. Let's see, Medea Benjamin, U.S. complains that its Reaper drone conducting routine operations over the Black Sea was intercepted by a Russian jet. Why are U.S. drones flying over the Black Sea? Routine operations or routine provocations? Now, that's interesting to take, too. Now, Medea Benjamin, I have no love for Medea Benjamin. She's the kind of a leftist nut job, as far as I can say. But I can't say she's wrong here. Like, why was a drone flying in the over the Black Sea where this happened? I don't know. So here's the Reuters article. U.S. Reaper drone crashes into Black Sea after Russian intercept. Now, that's a different story that I read on Twitter yesterday. At least the headline is. So let's go with the Reuters story and see what's saying here. The Black Sea is biblical, where Leviathan rises out to reclaim the world. Oh, that's maybe they were looking for the Leviathan. Good morning, by the way, Don Julio, Gulf City biker and trash man. A U.S. military MQ-9 surveillance drone crashed into the Black Sea on Tuesday after being intercepted by Russian fighter jets in the first such incident since Russia's invasion of Ukraine over a year ago. The Pentagon said that one of the Russian Su-27 jets struck the propeller of the drone, making it inoperable, while Russia's defense ministry blamed, quote, sharp maneuvering of the unmanned drone for the crash and said that jets did not make contact. Now there's a couple things here going on that I have questions, not that I don't know, because I don't know what happened. I just know what them being reported here. However, drones, those particular surveillance drones, they're not really designed for sharp maneuvering, so I'm not sure what we're talking about here. So that's a weird thing that the Russians would say. And then the idea that we had an unmanned surveillance drone flying over the Black Sea doing, quote, routine. What does it say? Routine. What's the word here? Oh, that's what Medea Benjamin said. Anyway, although no lives were lost, it was a reminder of the risk of direct confrontation between the United States and Russia over Ukraine, which Moscow invaded over a year ago and which Western allies have supported with intelligence and weapons. NATO's Supreme Allied Commander, Europe, U.S. Army General Christopher Cavoli, briefed NATO allies about the incident, which was roundly condemned by the White House and the Pentagon, where officials warned the risk of escalation. The State Department summoned Russia's ambassador over the incident. 2 Russian Su-27 jets carried out what the U.S. military describes as a reckless intercept of the American spy drone. It said the Russian fighter jets dumped fuel on the MQ-9, possibly trying to blind or damage it, and flew in front of it in unsafe maneuvers. After around 30 to 40 minutes at 7:03 a.m., one of the jets then collided with the drones, causing it to crash. The U.S. military said our MQ-9 aircraft was conducting, quote, here's where it came from, conducting routine operations in international airspace when it was intercepted and hit by Russian aircraft, resulting in a crash and a complete loss of the MQ-9. U.S. Air Force General James Heckler, who oversees the U.S. Air Force in the region, said in a statement, in fact, this unsafe and unprofessional act by Russians nearly caused both aircraft to crash. But Russia's defense ministry denied the craft made contact. It said the U.S. drone went into the water as a result of sharp maneuvering. Again, look, I don't understand the routine operations. Is this provocation, or are they trying to spy on what's going on in Ukraine? I don't know, whatever. And then, but the idea that it was also sharp maneuvering, again, the the drones are not known for sharp maneuvering. They're not designed for that. Anyway, instead the drone was flying with its transponder turned off. The Russian fighters did not use their onboard weapons, did not come into contact with the UAV, and returned safely to their home airfield. The ministry says that's what the Russians say. So, and then they talk about where the Black Sea is. MQ-9 is, which is, okay, now here's about the drone. The MQ-9 drone, which is built by General Atomics, has a wingspan of 66 feet, 22 meters, and is about 36 feet long. The drone weighs about 4,900 pounds when empty. The Pentagon did not say whether the drone was armed, whether it was flying precisely, or offers details of its mission, other than it was carrying out intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance activities. Wait a minute. So that's a routine flight? Okay. Interesting. So, unmanned drone. Now, what's interesting about this, because when you go into this, let's see, let's go back here, because now, interesting is the reaction. Now, as you may guess, now all of the Crassus teams have chimed in. Thank God. I couldn't wait till them to chime in. But here it is. This person, what the heck was a USAF MQ-9 Reaper drone doing over there anyway? Russian MOD statement, U.S. drone flight was recorded in Russian Crimean region in direction of the Russian border. Flight of the drone was carried out with the transponders turned off. That's what the Russians say. And I'm not here's where I'm at. I don't believe anybody anymore. I don't believe anybody anymore until you can give me some kind of proof. But this is here's a simulation on how the drone went down from CBS News. Let's hear this report.
U.S. drones flying surveillance missions over the Black Sea are often intercepted by Russian fighters.
Oh, so they're often intercepted by Russian fighters. Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
But never like what happened today. A Russian jet approached from the rear, dumping fuel. U.S. officials believe it meant to come up in front of the drone so it would fly into the fuel cloud, but pulled up too soon and clipped the drone's propeller, which is located in the rear.
This is the U.S.
The drone's controllers
version.
could do nothing but let it glide into the sea.
They collided with.
Was it flying that low to the sea, or is that just that simulation's giving you? I don't know. These simulations are always nonsense. Yeah, I'm curious about any of the simulations too. General Atomics is the most sci-fi sounding real corporation ever. Yes, it is. Headed to Statesford Hospital. Okay, that's something else. What's this general going to say?
The aircraft damaging the propeller and essentially putting in a situation.
Oh, by the way, and the reason I don't believe anyone in any of these situations, because everyone's going to lie to cover their ass. Nord Stream 2. Anyway.
Or was unflyable and uncontrollable.
It happened 75 miles southwest of the Crimean Peninsula, a part of Ukraine seized by Russia.
75 miles from Crimea. Now, I'm going to guess that these planes and drones fly 200-300 miles an hour. I'm guessing minimum. So where was this surveillance drone at? I'm just curious. And are we doing surveillance for the Ukrainians? Which I'm not even going to make a judgment on that. I'm just asking, are we? I'm pretty sure we are. And so is that considered active participation in their war? Dumbest reaction I saw was from the collective left saying how MAGA are going to lose their mind over U.S. running into a Russian plane. Except they were the only ones losing their mind. Well, yeah, the leftists are losing their minds on this. But also, there's some on the right that are... You'll just wait. The usual suspects are having the usual reactions. But let's finish this CBS report.
For more than half an hour, 2 Russian jets made a total of 19 passes on the unarmed drone.
Now, here's something interesting. If it is a surveillance drone, I'm pretty sure that it has video capabilities, and I'm guessing those video capabilities are beamed beamed, like beam me up, Scotty, back to a ship. Zablay, how you doing? Beamed back to the ship. Also, H.P. Lovecraft, good morning. Are beamed back to a ship where they're probably recorded. So they probably have recordings of these. If there's 19 passes with Russians dumping fuel on this drone, I'm pretty sure that they would have some video footage of it. So let's see if that happens. Let's see if we see some of that video footage sometime here soon. And look, I don't have any reason not to believe anybody. I want to see the evidence.
Popping up in front to blast it with their jet exhaust and trying to drench it with fuel.
Now, see, even in this simulation, now the Russian jets weren't that close to each other doing this, because dumping fuel in front of your partner probably isn't a good idea either.
On the final pass, the Russian pilot missed his approach. Just bad piloting, one official said.
Okay.
U.S. officials believe the Russians were
dumping this relic. Who the hell is this dude? David Martin?
The drone. Now the Pentagon wants to recover the wreckage before the Russians get to it, but they're operating at a disadvantage since there are no U.S. Navy ships in the Black Sea.
Oh, well, wait a minute. How'd that drone get there? Oh, they didn't fly it from a Navy ship? They fly it from a base? Routine operations.
David Martin, thank you.
Okay, so that's how CBS reports it. You know what's interesting too? Let's see. Do I have? No, I don't have them. I thought I had some articles open about this. But some of the usual suspects. Let's start with. Oh shoot! This thing flipped a lot. I'm taking a chance. Oh, here's a Krasenstein brother. Let's see what a Krasenstein brother has to say about this, because they're my favorite lolcows on the planet. Breaking. U.S. government reports that a Russian Su-27 jet has collided with U.S. MQ-9 Reaper drone over the Black Sea. Details. The details. The Su-27 jet hit the propeller of the American drone. This incident took place in international airspace over international waters. The military was forced to bring down the drone over the Black Sea. What? Wait, because it sounds like from the CBS report, it crashed. They didn't bring it down, it crashed. The military, Commander General James Heckler says our MQ-9 aircraft was conducting routine operations in international airspace when it was intercepted and hit by a Russian aircraft, resulting in a crash. So they didn't bring it down, dummy. Complete loss in the MQ-9. Below is the image of this type of drone. Okay. Now, what is this? Oh my gosh. And then Krasenstein do, they show showing like missiles being shot at something. Holy shit. Anyway, these guys they're just lolcows. There it is. Here's what I want to show you though. Apparently Lindsey Graham and Sean Hannity apparently think that this needs to be, this is a war, this is a, what do you call it, an act of war. And who knows? I mean, look, over a drone, remember, we've had this drone incident happen before when they, what the hell was that? When the Iranians shot down an American drone, and Trump's like, well, you know what? They didn't kill anybody. We're not going to escalate something over this, but we'll have some stern words. But here's Lindsey Graham.
They shot down our drone.
Oh my gosh. What should we do? Of course, wait. Okay, wait a minute. Hold it. Before I even let Lindsey Graham speak. What do you think Lindsey Graham thinks we should do? Huh? In the chat, tell me what you think Lindsey Graham thinks we should do. I'm going to read some chats while I'm waiting for your answers here. David Martin is no Martin Landau. He's about as old as Martin Landau. Working in the 40s, 50s, the interesting mix of his horror and... Okay, that's something completely different. We need to borrow V's Mud Wizard. What are you guys talking about here? Probably launched from a Turkish base, probably. Dave Martin isn't even David Landau. Just stop droning on about it. Yes, I am droning on. Oh, gotcha. The Krappensteins are the second and third worst Steen in recent memory after Epp. Let's see. Heads up, YouTube chat is broken and none of us mods can unhide anything. Trying to show anything the system flags gives us an error. Really? Okay. Don't say anything that'll get me kicked off of YouTube. So what do you think Lindsey Graham's take on this is? More money to Ukraine. Graham probably wants the U.S. to nuke Russia over this. So that's probably right. Yeah, there are warmongers. It was just a drone. I think the moderator function has been switched off or broken on YouTube. Okay, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know what y'all are moderating. And send more money to Ukraine. So let's hear what Lindsey Graham has to say.
Well, we should hold them accountable and say
hold them
that
accountable
if you ever
how?
get near another U.S. set flying in international waters, your airplane would be shot down. What would Ronald Reagan do?
Oh, we should shoot their planes down because of a drone in international water. So we should kill one of their pilots if they get in an accident with one of our drones, even if it's reckless. Shocker! We should commit.
He would start shooting Russian planes down if they were threatening our assets. American foreign.
Really? I got a question about that. Is that true? Real quick. Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, for sponsor of the day. Jimmy Das Hotep. You are also the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Jimmy Das says, do you think Russia thinks it is an act of war that we find and supply a country they are in direct conflict with? ? War good from distractions from banking collapse and the Fed starting a QE again, quantitative easing again. Yeah, yes, Jimmy does. It is definitely a good distraction. I wonder how is that 75 miles is not very far from a place that's currently at war to have your drone up there, right? Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep. So anyway, no shocker that Lindsey Graham thinks we should, commit another act of war. Let's see, who else? Oh, who is this? Well, this raised the legitimate question of what was the U.S. military drone doing over the Black Sea, thousands of miles away from U.S. borders? Imagine if Russia was flying a spy drone off the coast of the U.S. How would the U.S. respond? Yeah, if a Russian drone is flying over, say, the coast of... I was going to say the coast of Florida, but then Biden wouldn't care because it's Florida. But if a drone was flying off the coast of, Maine or New York, someplace where liberals are in charge, I think they would care. So anyway, they've retrieved the drone. This is new. Let's see. U.S. Air Force retrieves the fallen MQ-9 Reaper on the Black Sea shore. Inspections confirmed the drone's rear propeller was damaged by a Soviet-grade ammunition type 5HO-VHE-1. NATO reporting name Diggers with a D, easy now, officially implicating Russia in the attack. Now, wait a minute. The report that we're getting is that the plane collided with it. This says it was a rear propeller damaged by a Soviet-grade ammunition type. Huh. Oh, and here's the other Krasenstein. Breaking, Lindsey Graham essentially called for World War III, saying Russian planes got close to U.S. drones again. We should shoot down Russian planes. You know what? The fact that you think that Lindsey Graham is calling for World War III when you motherfuckers are just itching to get into Ukraine and fight Russia from there, make up your damn minds, guys. Please, please. So he put the same clip that, let's see, what does he say? It's funny how Republicans all claim to be anti-war until President Biden decides not to escalate things. Then they all decide that we should be aggressive. Republicans don't know what they want other than whatever it is that Democrats aren't doing. Holy shit! Are you kidding me? Let me just give you a name here, moron. Donald John Trump. All you do is want to do the opposite of what Trump does. Remember when Joe Biden got in the office and he repealed a bunch of Trump things, like the thing with the insulin, and then he comes back and gives you the same thing with the insulin? Because it was wrong when Trump did it, but now he's praised because he made a $35 cap on insulin. The same $35 cap that Donald Trump did when he was president. Holy shit. Anyway, thank you. Jimmy Doss Hotep sponsors the show once again. By the way, I'll tell you in a minute. First, Jimmy Doss says they didn't seem to care about a drone balloon from China cruising the USA for a week. This is a response to them all being easy on that event, in my opinion. They're reactionary trash. I will give you that one too, Jimmy Doss. Thank you, sir. Yeah, we shot down those Chinese balloons, although we think maybe one of those balloons was a hobby balloon from some hobbyists in the middle of the United States. But anyway, it's crazy. Yeah, warmongers, good for Lindsay's pocket. Damn right. I'm sure they're invested heavily in war making stocks. Mike says the Krappensteins were whinging about losing jobs in mil-tech companies if the U.S. stopped sending arms to Ukraine the other day. Oh, were they? Holy shit. That's no surprise. Anyway, they're douchebags. Let's see. And let's see. Someone complained about what Sean Hannity said about it. Oh, Hannity opens his show tonight essentially berating Biden to launch World War III. So here's Sean Hannity, too, doing the same thing. And look.
Russia and Putin's hostility and aggression against our country, the United States, has now reached a dangerous new height.
Wait a minute.
Now, tonight, the question is this. What will your President Joe Biden do? Is he going to offer maybe another waiver for the Nord Stream 2 pipeline? Put more sanctions in place? Putin's not going to care because he's...
Wait a minute. Why would he put waivers in the Nord Stream pipeline when we blew that shit up? We don't need to.
His energy and getting filthy rich. He's selling it to China, the rest of the world. And all of this comes as a new axis of evil is emerging between these three top geopolitical
now we're
foes.
calling them the axis of evil?
China's dictator Xi is now scheduled to hold a very rare but significant meeting with Putin in Moscow. So how much you want to bet they'll probably be trading jokes about just how pathetically weak America's president is?
I'm pretty sure that's guaranteed. But, okay, wait, let me just get away from this. I don't care what he says. Look, curious why? Tell me why was our drone flying over there? Tell me why it was so close to Crimea. Tell me why I never want to hear you say... I don't have the end line for that one. Anyway, axis of evil. Hannity's taking bets? I don't know. Anyway, look. Kremlin blames U.S. for crash zone, flying with transponders off towards Russian border. Oh, so now this one says they're... Okay, wait a minute. Here's a Zero Hedge article on this, where that's saying the Russians claim... This is an update. Still from from this morning. Wait, 15:10 Eastern time. How could it be 15:10? Anyway, after nearly 2 hours since the story first broke in international press, the Kremlin has issued its version of events concerning U.S. drone crash in the Black Sea Tuesday. The Russian Defense Ministry said nothing about the Pentagon's allegation that a Russian Su-27 aircraft dumped fuel on the MQ-9 drone, but instead blamed a pair of Russian jets. Whoa, wait a minute. They blamed the pair of Russian jets' erratic maneuvering for the collision. So they're blaming their own jet pilots? U.S. drone MQ-9 fell into the Black Sea on Tuesday morning due to its own... Now, this says... Wait, no. Instead, blame the pair. Russian jets' erratic maneuvering. Now, that doesn't make sense. U.S. drone MQ-9 fell in the Black Sea Tuesday morning due to its own sharp maneuvering. Russian fighters did not come into contact with it and did not use weapons, Russian Defense Ministry said, according to Russian media. So there's a good chance they're lying. Everybody's lying about this. I don't know. Jesus Christ, I don't care. As a result of sharp maneuvering, around 9:30 Moscow time, unmanned aerial vehicle MQ-9 went into an uncontrolled flight with a loss of altitude and collided with the water's surface. Russian fighters did not use airborne weapons, did not come into contact with the unmanned aerial vehicle, and returned safely to their home airfield. Because that's what the Russians, we already knew that update. So anyway, this is, okay, so this is pretty much the same story. I'll leave it in the links, by the way. All these stories that we talk about are in the links. Will be in the links at the end of the show during the outro. I update that. It's a one-tab link in the second paragraph. Click one link. Everything will be on one page. So, anyway, people are going to be arguing about this drone all day and the great Joe Biden. By the way, I originally was going to call this show, wait, what? You've lost sound. Has anybody else lost sound? I'm just curious. By the way, Chugi Show, nice to see you. Welcome back. A dolphin jumped really high out of the water and hit the drone. The animal crime wave continues. Yes. And then Zablade, the truth is somewhere in the middle. And at this point, I almost trust Russia reporting of the incident more than the U.S.'s. I have no idea who to believe anymore about anything regarding these type of world events. I'd like to believe our country, but we do a lot of stupid shit too sometimes. Let's move on to another subject. There's another bank is in trouble. Credit Suisse, I don't know how they pronounce it, crashes to an all-time low after boosting deposit rates to reverse bank run. It's becoming almost like clockwork. Every 2 weeks we get some news that send Credit Suisse stock to an all-time low. At the beginning of February, stock of the second largest Swiss bank plunged after reported its losses would unexpectedly continue well into 2023, if not 2024, and that the bank revealed at the end of 2022 was much worse than the bank had previously admitted, prompting some analysts, to call it staggering. Now, this is not an American bank, but it's still, this is a big ass bank in world money. I was going to say money laundering. Well, they kind of do. They got in trouble for some money laundering in the past. But anyway, then 2 weeks later, in mid-February, the stock plunged again after a report that regulators were probing if Axel Lehmann, the chairman of the embattled bank, had lied about the full extent of the bank's run in hopes of stabilizing outflows. Fast forward another 2 weeks to today. As Credit Suisse stocks crater 7%, I think it's down 30% today, actually, to a fresh all-time low after reports from Reuters and Bloomberg that in the hopes of reversing the seemingly endless bank run, and who can blame depositors from pulling their money from a company whose stock is less than $3 from zero? Credit Suisse is now offering aggressively higher deposit rates to attract new funds from wealthy clients in Asia. Citing sources, Reuters notes that the Swiss bank is offering 6.5 annual rate on the new 3-month deposits of $5 million or above, at a rate as high as 7% for 1-year deposits, far above matched maturity bills, and suggesting that to attract a client, the bank is forced to eat a loss. The hope, of course, is that after it attracts enough new clients, the bank will then be able to quietly lower rates and make new accounts profitable. However, as the various DeFi blow-ups of 2022 showed, it never quite works out that way. So anyway, the big news is that this bank is also failing. And let's see, probably. Oh, it's and here's now this is interesting. Crypto is risky. Okay, in quotation marks. But meanwhile, Credit Suisse, probably the most trusted bank in the world with 166 years of solid track record, is down 96.5% from the top. Everything is risky, folks. You need to take action if you want to protect your investment. And the Saudis have said they want to invest. The credit default markets are pricing in a probability of default of 38%. So anyway, I have no idea what to do about this right now. It's the third major bank. Look, when it rains, it pours, and when it bleeds, it leads. And we're going to be hearing about banking issues for a while now. But don't go into that panic toilet paper thing that everyone does, like it did during COVID. Everyone buys toilet paper and then it just leaves no toilet paper for anybody else. The problem right now, at least in U.S. banks, is the fact that the Fed has, over kind of a short period, raised the Fed rate significantly. And so in the case of Signature Bank, in the case of Silicon Valley Bank, when their long-term investments are at a lower rate than the Fed rate, that means their new rate that they have to pay out to their depositors also rises, and possibly to a level higher than their long-term investments. And that means you're losing money. And so, and since, especially in the case of Silicon Valley Bank, most of their invested money that they from their depositors was in long-term, very low rate yield investments. So that doesn't work for anybody. All right. Came back pretty quickly. Something in my end. Oh, okay, cool. I'm glad the sound came back. All right. Something else that's trending right now on Twitter is I'm thinking it's turning in. Look, remember in around 2016 and so on, there was a lot of these conservative speakers who would go speak on these college campuses, and then there'd be some riots, or there'd be some kind of attempted Heckler's veto so the people couldn't speak. Well, Charlie Kirk is trending today because apparently he was going to go speak at UC Davis. And and so now there's a bunch of these little Antifa screwball guys. Look, just because they call themselves anti-fascists, they absolutely participate in fascist activities the way they do things. But anyway, so Charlie Kirk was going to go speak at this college campus, UC Davis, and the chancellor, the head of the college, claimed that Charlie Kirk advocated for violence against transgender individuals. So a bunch of Antifa fuckwads came and attacked the campus during his speaking event. So here it is. This is Andy, I don't know, somebody from the Post Millennial. In response to Turning Point USA's live free tour stop at UC Davis on Tuesday evening, University of California Davis Chancellor Gary May issued a video to students in which he claimed that Turning Point USA founder and president Charlie Kirk had advocated for violence against individuals. Now, Charlie Kirk has never advocated for violence against anybody or transgender individuals, and Charlie Kirk's never did it. Here's the chancellor's little speech, and also the Sacramento Bee. Wait till you see what the Sacramento Bee said. But here's Chancellor. What's his name? Whatever his name is here. What the hell's his name? Chancellor Gary May. Here's Chancellor Gary May talking about Charlie Kirk coming to speak at UC Davis.
Many of you have reached out to me and others regarding tonight's event organized by the registered student organization Turning Point USA, or TPUSA, at UC Davis. Thank you for sharing your distress at a student group hosting a speaker who is a well-documented proponent of misinformation and hate.
Whoa. What did he say? A well-known purveyor of misinformation and hate. Really? Now, I'm not a big fan of Charlie Kirk, but hate? Really? I think a lot more hate is hurled at Charlie Kirk than he's at. Well, I don't think he advocates for hate. He just advocates for what his side of the opinion is, and these fuckers don't like it.
At a student group hosting a speaker who is a well-documented proponent of misinformation and hate, and who has advocated for violence against transgender individuals.
Okay, citation needed. For violence against transgender individuals, and wait till you see what Sacramento Bee wrote, so you understand. First of all, this is the main guy at the university. He's the head chancellor, whatever, saying this. I wonder what his evidence is. Oh, did some students tell him that, or does he have some evidence?
Under UC policy, campuses may not prohibit student organizations such as TPUSA from inviting these speakers, even if the speaker's intended speech is loathsome and hurtful to me.
How so? And loathsome and hurtful to you? What? How's it gonna...
To others in our campus community. With respect to concerns related to violence, UC policy permits denial of requests if the speaker will present a clear and present danger to the campus.
Which he does not.
Council also notes.
So apparently he does not, because you allowed him to speak. So what do you mean by danger to you? If he had a clear and present danger, you would be able to bar him, but you didn't. So which is it, Chancellor?
There's a similarly heavy burden for criminal prosecution for incitement of violence. Please be assured that we are monitoring the event closely to determine if a threat or incitement develops that meets that threshold.
So now,
we can't control how these groups operate, but we can.
How about the groups that are protesting? Can they be violent?
So having to
Chancellor?
speak to an empty room would make a powerful statement.
Okay, so that's the Chancellor of the university. Okay. So after May's video repeated May's video repeated false claims that Kirk was calling for lynching. That's the Sacramento Bee put it's not there. Anyway, he said after May's video repeating the false claim that Kirk was calling for lynching, Antifa went to UC Davis to protest TPUSA bringing violence and vandalism. Now there was actual violence from somebody during this, but it was not Charlie Kirk or anyone attending his event. So riot police took down Antifa surrounding the UC Davis Charlie Kirk event sponsored by TPUSA. Antifa members were spotted smashing windows and doors on campus and vandalizing the campus. Militants also blocked students and members of the public from entering this university event. So let's see. Let's go. Well, here. Let's see. Prosobics. This is these are police arresting somebody. I don't know why. Because some of them were using pepper spray, and so that's apparently illegal. And they were blocking students from going to the event. Now I don't know why these people are being arrested. No idea. So anyway, that doesn't really show you much, but. Now here's the place, though. Here's the part where this is during the event. So security is there, and as this continues, now they have a little camera problem during this. So they're smashing doors and windows. So that you would think that maybe the police would reinforce this as they're breaking windows at the event. Now I'm going to guess too. Here, I'm going to stop that. I'm going to guess that most of these jackholes doing the violence probably don't go to UC Davis. I'm going to guess. Maybe. I'm sure some of them do anyway. Anyway, Charlie Kirk. So the original, here's what the Sacramento Bee did. Charlie Kirk says, this is defamation and libel. We will sue unless it is corrected. Left-wing rags like the Sacramento Bee are allowed to platform lies against conservatives and get away with it. So here is Sacramento Bee posted this. Another fascist speaker is coming to UC Davis. How should the community respond? Opinion. Charlie Kirk has called for the lynching of trans people, a comment that should warrant the cancellation of his speaking engagement at UC Davis. Now, if any of you can find me, an incident of Charlie Kirk calling for the lynching of trans people, please send it to me. I want an exclusive because I don't think he's ever said that before. So anyway, that's the Sacramento Bee. So apparently, though, looks like The Sacramento Bee pulled down the original column and removed the reference to fascist and lynching and included a notation of changes. Despite this, Sacramento Bee reporter something Night Cops is still parroting this lie. If anyone gets hurt tonight, Sacramento Bee played a prominent role. So here's the part that he's referencing here. Someone named Mark, thank you for reaching out to me. While the Bee feels that its original column was not actionable and was protected opinion, yeah, in light of its commitment to free speech and considering your input, the Bee is publishing a revised column, which we think will address your concerns. The revised version references changes to the original. Please do not hesitate to let me know if you have any additional concerns. We trust this resolves the matter. Well, if it's libel, because he never said it, that could be. So now, and then Antifa is currently busting through doors at UC Davis, trying to stop host Charlie Kirk from speaking. What the hell stopped them? So this is another footage from that same incident where they're breaking in the windows. Maybe this one won't turn sideways. It did not. So anyway, so that's a lie. And so there's barricades weren't for Charlie, they were for the toddlers. So, and here's more. I guess this is TPUSA's. There's this guy pepper spraying someone who went to go see the event. They were hitting this guy with umbrellas. Okay, now that guy probably is going to get. Now, who's going to get in trouble here? Well, him, because he actually made contact with somebody, so he assaulted them. So anyway, these people are nuts. I got to tell you, someone said that in the chat, nutters. So anyway, that is why Charlie Kirk is trending. Am I? Oh gosh, I'm way behind time here. All right, let's move on because the name of this stream is Joe Biden's executive order is unconstitutional. And unconstitutional is trending because Joe Biden made an executive order. Now let's go to the mainstream media, how they are covering this first. And then we'll come back to why I'm saying unconstitutional. Because I'm saying unconstitutional for a reason that not a lot of people are talking about. And we'll get to it. So here's the article. Here's NBC News covering this. Biden seeks to expand gun background checks with new executive order. The president signed the order ahead of the trip to Monterey Park, California, where 11 people were killed in January at a gathering for Lunar New Year's celebration. So let's see. I'm going to refresh this to see if there's the video. Yeah, here it is. Here's the NBC report.
President Biden signed an executive order yesterday designed to reduce gun violence through tougher enforcement of existing laws. He issued that order before a visit to Monterey Park, California.
That's interesting that he says tougher enforcement of existing laws. Really? I'm confused. In California? Who enforces the laws in California which are more stringent than most places? Oh, that would be the state of California. But anyway.
People were shot and killed at a dance hall back in January. It calls for the expanded use of background checks and red flag laws for gun buyers. The president also renewed his call for Congress to ban assault-style weapons and high-capacity magazines.
Interesting, because
for a movie theater,
very few. Let's say long weapons, long rifles, account for fewer deaths than people just beating the shit out of each other. But anyway, President Joe Biden signed an executive order Tuesday designed to increase background checks in a visit to Los Angeles suburb that was the site of a mass shooting this year. Biden issued the order shortly before a trip to Monterey Park. Where's the clip? I want the clip of how he said it, because here's Breitbart. Joe Biden goes around Congress, directs A.G. Garland to pursue universal background checks. USA Today, it's just common sense. It's just common sense. What are you talking about? Let me see if I want the quote. Here it is. Maybe this will be it. It's just common sense. President Biden signs new executive action expanding gun background checks. Let's see if this one has it. No, but he'll
today.
Okay, listen to the wording here. This is the wording, and then I'll get to my point, because most people are arguing the Second Amendment on this particular thing, and I'm not going to argue the Second Amendment here, even though I think it's, Second Amendment should be pretty clear as it's written, but apparently the government can interfere in certain things, even if the Second Amendment says it can't. But anyway.
I'm announcing another executive order. They'll accelerate and intensify this work to save more lives more quickly.
It will not.
First, this executive order helps keep firearms out of dangerous hands.
It will not.
As I continue to call on Congress to require background checks for all firearm sales.
Wait, stop right there. Call on Congress to want background checks for all firearm sales. Does that include the illegal ones? Because I know what he means here. He means like some person-to-person sales don't go through a background check. But any arms sales, legal arms sales, that are gone through any kind of dealer, whether online or in person, requires a federal background check. The only ones that don't are person-to-person in some cases, right? And even gun shows. See, they think there's this, there's a gun show loophole. No, there's not. Because when you buy a gun at a gun show, you still have to go through a federal background check, and you cannot pick up your new weapon. You have to pick it up at a licensed dealer. Okay, so even then, it doesn't. But wait, but not. How about illegal gun sales? Well, that's you ain't covering that, are you? Oh, yippee ki-yay, motherfucker! Now, wait. Now, listen to this carefully. This is the part that I have an issue with.
My executive order directs my Attorney General to take every lawful action possible.
Now, he says every lawful action possible, but listen to the next line.
Move us as close as we can to universal background checks without new legislation. It's just common sense. Check whether someone is a felon, a domestic abuser. Come on, man. Before they buy a gun.
Okay. It's just common sense. Now, the line that got me there was when he said, without legislation. So here's how USA Today writes it out. President Joe Biden took executive action Tuesday that seeks to increase the number of background checks conducted during gun sales as the White House reverts to unilateral ways to tackle gun control amid bleak prospects in Congress. Well, first of all, you can't do any unilateral. Unilateral ways to tackle gun control. The White House cannot do that. That is the part that I'm saying is unconstitutional. A lot of people are worried about the Second Amendment issues, which are important. Some are saying Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment. Some are inciting the 14th Amendment. First of all, he's saying the order stops short of requiring universal background checks, which the president has asked Congress to pass through legislation. Now, when they say universal background checks, what do they even mean? Okay, gun sales in this country already required background checks. Now, what's universal mean? You mean, so is he saying for person-to-person sales, maybe? I'm not sure what that even means when they say they're not doing background checks. They were already doing it. I'm not a gun owner, so I'm not 100% familiar with everything, but I know that there are already background checks. So what's the difference when they say universal background checks versus the current background checks? What exactly do they mean? But he said, ask Congress to pass through legislation. His action instead directs Attorney General Merrick Garland to clarify what it means to be engaged in the business of selling firearms. So basically, he's asking the Attorney General to reinterpret laws that are on the books without passing new legislation. And that probably is unconstitutional. I grant it. The Second Amendment issues and the other issues are also concerns from a constitutional standpoint. But the way he said it, that I'm going to find a way to do this without passing legislation. Do you have the power to do that? That's interesting. Anyway, federal law requires that individuals in the business of selling guns be federally licensed and therefore check the backgrounds of buyers, which they already have, including gun shows. Under the order, Garland will use his discretion to ensure gun sellers willfully violating the law and those unaware of background requirements become compliant. Well, okay, what's that going to do? Certainly not going to stop the illegal sales that are not necessarily gun dealers, right? And then he says, well, we remember and mourn, but I'm here with you today to act. Well, what's your act going to do? So here is what does Biden's order do on gun safety? As close as possible, quote unquote, Biden's gun order moves the United States as close to universal background checks as possible without additional legislation, the White House says. Really? How does it do that? What does that even mean? Implementation. Federal agencies are responsible for carrying out the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, a landmark gun law passed by Congress last year, must detail how they're implementing it within 30 to 60 days. A key piece of legislation expands background checks on gun buyers 21 and younger to include their mental health and juvenile justice records. Interesting. And red flag laws. Oh, you mean the Fourth Amendment violation? Order promotes the use of extreme risk protection, a move meant to complement these 19 states that have red flag laws that allow the court to order the removal of a person's firearms if they're considered dangerous. Gee, define dangerous. And then promoting safety. The order directs Biden's cabinet to do everything it can to promote the safe storage of firearms. Wow, that is going to do a whole lot. The cabinet's going to promote the safe storage of firearms. Yippee-ki-yay. Anyway, very odd. Very odd. So that's how USA Today is doing it. Let's see how CBS News talks about it. Is this just the same executive order? I'm going to guess. Maybe. How about working here, computer? Jesus. Okay, let's try this now. Today. Oh, good Lord. Okay, Boomer Tech bites me in the ass. Here we go. Let's try the New York Times. Biden issues executive order to strengthen background checks for guns. Ooh, he's strengthening background checks for guns. President Biden announced a handful of steps designed to improve enforcement of existing gun laws during a trip to Monterey Park, California. So this is it kind of looks like I'm doing something, but I'm really not. And, and the things we're doing aren't going to stop the people who are dying in the streets in crime-ridden areas. But it'll make it harder for law-abiding citizens to buy guns. How does that sound? Yippee! All right, now, is that all I have here? Holy shit, I got through everything. How did I do that? Okay, well, here, let me see. There's, let's check real quick. Oh, by the way, let's do a couple little education news. This should be good. Apparently, an Oregon parent is livid after discovering health teacher assigns students to share their sexual fantasies. Oh, goodness gracious. An Oregon high school has parents livid after it was discovered that a health teacher assigned homework asking students to write sexual fantasy stories and mark the initials of a man or woman next to the sexual activities they would perform. First reported by local television station KEZI in the city of Eugene, a parent exposed the assignment via a screenshot on Facebook, which asked students at Churchill High School to write a short story of a paragraph or two about a sexual fantasy that will have no penetration of any kind or oral sex, no way of passing an STI. According to the Oregonian, according to the Oregonian, Kirk Miller, health teacher, and football coach, gave the assignment to students taking Churchill's Health to Human Sexuality course, which directs the class to show that minors could receive loving affection without having sex while choosing 3 items for the story. Now I'm curious about this. Such items could include romantic music, candles, massage oil, feather boa, flavored syrup, etc. Interesting. Now, there's a couple takes you could have on this. If he's saying how to, in a health class, the sexuality class, talking about having I don't know, doing things that don't include actual sex. Are the parents living that he's not telling them to have sex, or that he's telling them to have sex? He's telling them to talk about things that no sex involved, basically. Maybe, I don't know, but why is the damn teacher talking about tell us your sexual fantasies? Students at Churchill High School, Eugene, Oregon, were required to describe in detail writing a sexual fantasy and turn it into the teacher. Look, here, let me think about this. Yeah, it doesn't sound that all outrageous. AD, I'm confused now. Basically, and you couldn't talk about actual sex. Anyway, hundreds of comments flooded the post within the hour of the screenshot being made public on social media. This is so inappropriate. One post read, does he still have a job? Another parent expressed outrage over the idea that an adult male teacher asked their daughter to share sexual fantasies with him. I can understand why that might upset some parents, because, I don't necessarily need my teacher asking my kids about their sexual fantasies, so they can go home and read it and, do their own personal activities to it. Kathy Rogers, whose 16-year-old daughter attends the high school but was not in the class, told the Oregonian that Miller previously gave the students another assignment that encouraged bisexuality, called it, "With whom would you do it?" Okay, now that's, again, I don't understand why they have these classes, these teachers asking this shit. The class required students to initial males and females that the students would do each activity with, which were sexual in nature, such as kissing and oral sex. Now that is inappropriate. That, I think, you don't need to know kids' proclivities. It's none of your damn business. Okay? If you're teaching how, the sperm fertilizes the egg and where it drops down into the spot and incubates, I can understand that. And maybe the functions of certain body parts. But I don't think you need to know what the kid's sexuality is, asking, well, would you do this with a male? Would you do this with a female? That's a little too personal. Roger said students in the class felt mortified, awkward, and creeped out by the assignments. Yeah, that's a little creepy. Again, this is a male teacher. Now look, I think this might prove that it's not just the trans and sex and LGBTQI people or whatever. Any teacher doesn't need to be talking about this with students and determining what their proclivities are. So anyway, there's more in the article, but I'll pass on that. Holy shit. What the hell are they doing in the schools these days? Oh, by the way, speaking of Heckler's veto, I didn't really talk about this before, but this article in Daily Caller popped up concerning the same question about the Heckler's veto. Law schools' heckling trends show a disturbing future for the legal system, according to experts. Law schools that permit students to heckle and disrupt speakers fail to impress upon them the importance of free speech rights and could have a negative impact on the future of the legal profession, experts told the Daily Caller News Foundation. In the past year, protesters have attempted to shut down speakers at Stanford University, Yale, University of California, San Francisco, and Georgetown University because of their political views. If law schools fail to teach students how to respect free speech during their time in school, that will be reflected in the legal profession when the students graduate, experts argued. I don't know who these experts are. Oh, here. As future lawyers, law students have an ethical obligation to respect the rule of law. Cece O'Leary, a Southeastern Legal Foundation attorney, told the Daily Caller News Foundation. When law schools fail to enforce their own Heckler's vetoes policies, they abdicate their duty to teach respect for the law. Law schools should be dedicated to resolving disputes through reasoned debate, not through shouting down contrary views. Eugene Volokh, a law professor at University of California, Los Angeles, told the DCNF, when we see law students acting that way, especially with impunity, that bodes ill for their future as lawyers or the future of the legal system more broadly, he explained. So last week, and there was an incident last week at Stanford. Last week, Stanford Law School students and the school's associate dean for diversity, equity, and inclusion, Tyrion Steinbach, heckled Fifth Circuit Judge Kyle Duncan during a discussion about stupid 19 guns and Twitter. Steinbach responded to Duncan's call for an administrator to calm the room by asking him to reflect on whether his speech was worth the pain that it causes and the division, while students shouted phrases including "your racism is showing" and "respect black women." If you didn't see that shit show, here I got another article open about that. Do they have a link here? Here's what happened at this thing. Let me show you this because if you haven't seen it. Whoops. I can't expand this. This is at a law school.
I am an associate dean, and I would love to answer your question. Can I? Yeah, and to this room, because you're asking into the room as well. Is that okay?
Associate dean, what do you want to say?
So this is the judge that was invited to speak at Stanford, right? And apparently the students don't like him because he's a Trump-appointed judge, and so they're basically they're heckling him the whole time. Why? I don't know. I mean, it's a law school. You should learn things from, judicial philosophy from all points of view, whether or not you agree with it or not. But they're heckling the guy. So he asked this dean to come, speak to the students, and here's what happens.
You asked for an administrator. She is an administrator. You just asked for an administrator in here.
Do you want an echo chamber or do you want someone to handle
Can I say something, Tim? Is that okay? Is that okay?
So you've invited me to speak here, and I'm being heckled nonstop. And I'm just asking for an administrator to sign it.
That's an administrator.
She's blaming it on. They're blaming it on the speaker.
You've gotten what you wanted. Take it. Like, do you want an echo chamber? What's the issue?
Can I help?
I guess I have prepared remarks, but they're not letting me get.
So he hasn't even barely started.
I'm so uncomfortable up here, and I don't say that for sympathy. I just say I'm deeply, deeply uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable because this event is tearing at the fabric of this community.
Why? Who's tearing at it?
And I don't know, and I have to ask myself, and I'm not a cynic to ask this, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is this worth it?
Oh, yeah.
But for many people in this law school who work here, who study here, and who live here, your advocacy, your opinions from the bench land as absolute disenfranchisement of their rights and does land.
Explain. Oh, give a example.
Please, let me and it impacts directly their people, humans, their families, and their communities. And I'm uncomfortable, and it's uncomfortable to say this to you as a person. It's uncomfortable to say that for many people here, your work has caused harm. Has caused harm.
How?
I know that must be uncomfortable.
You need to be specific.
Let me please finish, and I want to give you space to finish your remarks too, Judge Duncan. I'm also uncomfortable because.
So she decided to give him a speech herself.
Here I've come to care for, and in my role at this university, my job is to create a space of belonging for all people in this
except for the speaker you invite.
And messy and not easy, and the answers are not black or white or right or wrong. This is actually part of the creation of belonging. And it doesn't feel comfortable, and it doesn't always feel safe, but there are always places of safety, and there is always an intention from this administration to make sure you all can be in a place where you feel fully you can be here, learn, grow into the amazing
and what did he do
lawyers and leaders that you're going
to cause it to be otherwise?
Because it is my job to say you are invited into this space. You are absolutely welcome in this space. In this space that people learn and again live.
No, he's not welcome.
Wholeheartedly welcome you. Because me and many people in this administration do absolutely believe in free speech. We believe that it is necessary. We believe that the way to address
then why do you allow a Heckler's video
that feels harmful, that literally denies the humanity of people, that one way to do that is with more speech and not less, and not to shut you down or censor you or censor the student group that invited you here. That is hard, that is uncomfortable, and that is a policy.
Why is that hard? That should be the easiest part of your job.
Of defending, even in this time.
It should be the easiest part of your job because that's the function of a goddamn university. What the hell are you talking about?
And again, I still ask, is the juice worth the squeeze? What does that mean? I mean, is it worth the pain that this causes and the division that it causes?
Who's dividing? Who's causing the division? The hecklers? Who are unwilling to listen to something that they may not agree with? That's the division. That is the it's like holding hands of 3-year-olds walking across the street.
Something so incredible important to say about Twitter and guns and COVID that is worth this impact on the division.
You invited him.
Of these people who have sat next to each other for years, who are going through what is the battle of law school together so that they can go out into the world and be advocates. And this is the division that's caused. When I say is the juice
yeah, Jeff, over
that's
school.
What I'm asking.
Preschool.
Is this worth it? And I hope so, and I'll stay for your remarks to see, because I do want to know your perspective. I am not
but none of the students
in
do.
The business of wanting to either shut down speech.
Yes, you are. Well, the students are. Then explain that to your students why they shouldn't, and let them listen and then ask tough questions at the end. Wouldn't that be more appropriate than heckling the guy the whole time?
For this group today, they will come for the group that I am part of tomorrow. I do believe that. And I understand why people feel like the harm is so great that we might need to reconsider.
What harm?
And luckily they're in a school where they can learn the advocacy skills to advocate for those changes. I hope that you have something to share with us that we can learn from. I hope you can learn too while you're in this learning institution. I hope you can look through the spectacle of and the noise to the people holding these signs. The people who are here to learn.
I wonder if she's going to tell them to shut the fuck up after this, though.
Absolutely are fighting for, working for freedom. Just to be free, to be themselves. That is what they are here for.
They're in law school. You're not there to be free. They're under the constraints of what to learn the law.
If it was just words, that would be one thing. You have authority and you have power to make decisions that impact the lives of millions. And I hope if you learn anything, that you can listen through your partisan lens, the hyper-political lens.
Whoa, wait a minute. I'm curious. Is he the only one there with a partisan hyper-political lens? And can you learn from, look, let's say they oppose him. Everyone there opposes everything he does. Can you learn from someone who's speaking of things you oppose? Can you learn their true intentions or their true thoughts, their true meaning? Can you juxtapose it to your own opinions and meaning and their own truth?
And just look and see human beings who are asking you to take care.
Are they treating him as a human being and asking to take care?
And Like all guests on our campus, we ask that you come with good intentions and respect.
Oh, so he's come there. So you're assuming that he's not coming there with good intentions and respect. That's your partisan lens. That's your political lens.
And I do want to hear your remarks, and I do want to say thank you for protecting the free speech that we value here of our speakers and of our protesters. And I want to remind you all of one thing. I chose to be here today. You all chose to be here today. Many people go before Judge Duncan who do not necessarily choose to be there. And they have to listen to everything he says. Literally thousands of people. You have a choice. You do not need to stay here if this is not where you want to be.
Ding.
You can stay here if this is where you want to be right now. But make that choice. If you
and shut the fuck up.
I do think we should give space to hear what Judge Duncan has to say.
Well, at least she's finally said that.
Also, you will take question and answer and comment section to say what you need to say and to ask the questions you need to ask. I'm really grateful to be in this institution. I look out and I don't ask what is going on here.
Now she got roasted for this, by the way. She got roasted for this the next a couple days later, and they protested her for even saying that they need to hear what he has to say. And some of the protesters are walking out. Now let's see where he goes here. If they change.
Down the heckling slightly so he can get to our questions, which we so very much want to hear the responses. Thank you, Daddy!
Okay, so that lady, whatever she just said. Anyway, so that's what this is all about. So anyway, what we saw at Stanford, last week, Stanford Law School students and the school's Associate Dean of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Tyrion Steinbach, heckled Fifth Circuit Judge Kyle Duncan during a session about COVID-19 guns on Twitter. Steinbach responded to Duncan's call for an administrator to calm the room by asking him to reflect on whether his speech was worth the pain that this causes and the division, while the students shouted phrases including "your racism is showing" and "respect black women." What we saw at Stanford Law School forebodes a concerning future for the rule of law in this country. Speech First Executive Director Sharice Trump told DCNF, no relation to Donald Trump, the behavior by the disruptors and the apparent encouragement by campus leaders not only normalizes these childish tactics, but also normalizes the idea that if someone holds a different opinion when they are your political enemy, and if someone holds a different opinion, then they are your political enemy and should be eliminated from the field. This type of thinking is incongruent with American jurisprudence and could seriously threaten the reliability and confidence in our legal system. Oh, that's true. Stanford later apologized for the disruption, prompting hundreds of students to protest Jenny Martinez, a law school dean, by dressing in black and lining the corridors to stare her down. And else they wore masks. Several student groups rejected the apology and doubled down on their support for the disruption and for Steinbach's intervention. In veiled language, the law school, through its capable and compassionate administrators who were present at the event and who were interceded productively under the bus and expressed an intent to ensure that such disruptions do not occur again, the Stanford National Lawyers Guild wrote. The guild said in its letter that the disruption was justified because of Duncan's abhorrent behavior. Oh, he came to give a speech. Good for him. That's abhorrent. It is ironic that Judge Duncan repeatedly criticized protesters for being disrespectful, the group wrote. Judge Duncan's record, jurisprudence, views, and personal conduct are beyond disrespectful. They are as antithetical to the social justice mission of the National Lawyers Guild as it is possible to be. However, when students are permitted to disrupt speaker events, they are learning that suppression rather than reasoned debate is the right way to resolve disputes. Again, the same thing at the Charlie Kirk event. When you're allowed to disrupt the events, that's that becomes the norm. That becomes okay. You allow that. That's not the way we deal with society. You can have reason to debate and be passionate about your side, but the idea that you can just heckle people out of their ability to speak is just not a productive way to do things on this planet. Anyway, heckling while unconstitutional is also a sign that law schools aren't doing a good enough job. I think it said while constitutionally meant not doing a good job at educating students about their First Amendment rights, both what they include and what they do not include. First Amendment is a common hot-button issue when it comes to proposed laws. New York, for example, considered a law that would have censored hateful conduct, end quote, on social media, but it was shot down by the district court in February. Good! The FBI toed the line of First Amendment restrictions when it colluded with Twitter to censor specific accounts that may have infringed on users' rights, experts previously told the Daily Caller. The trend of heckling and disregarding free speech rights goes beyond Stanford, and examples can be pinpointed on several other universities nationwide. In March 22, students at the formerly known University of California Hastings College of Law, now UC San Francisco, heckled conservative legal scholar Ilya Shapiro, no relation to Ben, by shouting and banging their hands on the table to drown him out. The protest, which violated the school's event policy prohibiting disruptions, came in response to a tweet Shapiro made in January 2022 criticizing President Joe Biden's promise to select a black woman as his Supreme Court nominee, after which the Georgetown University placed him on academic leave. Georgetown law students held a sit-in protest after to demand Shapiro be terminated, as well as reparations, including a place for students to cry, the National Review reported. The frequent disruptions are a symptom of a deeper problem of ideological uniformity that most law schools and intolerance for dissenting, usually right of center, viewpoints. Bill Jacobson, founder of the conservative nonprofit Legal Insurrection and director of the Securities Law Clinic at Cornell University. Surveys find that students on college campuses are afraid to voice their opinions on campus for fear of retaliation by peers or faculty members, according to a survey conducted by Free Speech Watchdog, the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression. Broken down, the results revealed that conservative students are more likely than their liberal peers to feel like they can't speak freely. I wonder why. Any law student who disagrees with woke DEI policies or activities on campus is completely silenced out of fear of being shouted down or targeted, Trump added. Again, this Trump's no relation to the guy with the funny hair. Keep in mind, the students who are encouraged to use tactics like this by administrators with political agendas will take these tactics with them as they enter the professional world. They will become attorneys, Supreme Court clerks, judges, lawmakers, and advisors, and perhaps a Supreme Court justice. Ms. Brown. Is it Brown Jackson? Yeah, Ms. Brown Jackson. More than 100 students protested a free speech panel at Yale Law School in March 2022 that featured Monica Miller, American Humanist Association legal director, and Kristen Wagner, president of the conservative legal organization Alliance for Defending Freedom. Free speech is essential to a free society. It curbs government power. Lawyers must engage with people and ideas they dislike, Wagner wrote in a Monday Twitter thread. We can't have a working justice system if advocates choose bullying and intimidation over logic and persuasion. Yet at this time, what some law schools teach, this is what some law schools teach and model. Yeah, so imagine these students in law school, right? They learn that they can just heckle their way through something they don't like. Imagine they get into a courtroom and the defense or the prosecuting attorney is up there giving its opening statement, and the defense attorney just gets up there and says, "No! Read! No!" I just don't think that's going to work in a court case. Anyway, they give several other examples in the article, or a couple other examples, but I'm going to skip that because I'm out of time. Ladies and gentlemen, Cannon Hotep, what's up, my man? So, and James PFP's in the house. I see you there too. Anyone else show up while I wasn't paying attention? Jeff Overturf, I said hi earlier. And okay, anyway, all you people, thank you for being here. Just a reminder, though. Let me remind you something before I end the show. You are the sponsors of the Morning Night Live. Please hit the like button before you go. 29 people in the room, 23 likes. That means several of you haven't done it yet. Also, before you go, share the stream. Start sharing these streams. It would be great. I'd be so grateful if you just started doing that as a regular basis. Some of you already do it on a regular basis. It helps. It helps. It helps. Also, comment in the comment section if you're watching on replay. Sponsor show, pdognight.live. That's the Streamlabs link, or super chats during the show, or Venmo Cash App. But pdognight.live, 24 hours a day, and during the show, I'll read those every time. And even if you do it off hours, I'll do it. And you don't have to pay as much to the other people to donate to the show. One other thing, my alternate channel, which is just travel and kind of cool stuff that I see when I go places. It's called Marty's Big Journey. That channel, I've just started posting new content on, and I have a whole bunch of stuff that I'm starting to put up there. So I would love for you to go check that out. In fact, I'll put a link to it. Let me see if I can put a link to it in the links today. In fact, I will do that. I want you to check out Marty's Big Journey because it's mostly just travel stuff. Marty's Big Journey. I'll put the main page there. Ding. And let's see, turn the trailer off real quick. Oh, the trailer's off. Good. There we go. So I'll put a link to Marty's Big Journey in there. Got a couple new videos up there, shorts and regular videos, just of different stuff that we're doing and places we've gone, which is I have 4 years of footage that I'm going to be making videos. So a lot of it's going to be short form videos, some under a minute, some just a few minutes, and then I'll do some long form videos later, especially about our trip down the Danube we did last year, which I'm going to do a long form video for that too. But I'm going to put a lot of clips of just cool stuff that we saw when we were over in Hungary, Austria, Germany, and the Czech Republic. There's a lot of cool stuff we saw. So there'll be more of that. There's something else I'm going to tell you. What was it? I don't remember. I'll tell you tomorrow if I remember. Anyway, thank you all for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I got to go. My name is P. Dog Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is P. Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P. Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P. Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.